Hello everyone. Beside COVID-19, one of the hottest topic around is cryptocurrency. Is the price going up? Is the price coming down? My name is Richard Tan from Success Resources. We are the world leading education provider. Every week I'll be making videos about cryptocurrency investing. So if this is a topic that you are interested in or want to know more, do subscribe for the channel. Just click the thumbs up and click the notification so whenever we have a video, you are the first to know. I am very delighted to bring my friend Dr. Clemen Chiang to the program. Now, Dr. Clemen Chiang is an authority in financial investing and also a very well-known teacher and coach in the art of wealth creation. Welcome, Dr. Clemen.
Wow, thank you so much, Richard. What a great way to start our beautiful Monday of the week. And thank you for having me in your community. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. Dr. Clemen, thank you for joining us. I hope all is well. Like we are right here in Singapore, otherwise known as paradise. Every place is beautiful, trees and wonderful people around. The only thing is that you can't go to the restaurant starting from today like you usually can do. So we can only go 2% at a time, but it's still better than some places in the world. Yeah, so welcome everybody. Good. Now, Dr. Clemen, we have a couple of questions for you as usual, and we want to thank you ahead of time for all the wisdom that you have been giving us over the last couple of weeks. And for those of you who are new or just joined this video, over the last couple of weeks, Dr. Clemen has kind of condensed many news in the market, right, and make sense of the news. Sometimes, you have so many noise in the market, but Dr. Clemen is able to condense them and simplify them so the ordinary investor know how to make decision based on those news. Now, Dr. Clemen, the first thing today, which is a big news today in the market, is that U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she will meet up with the President Working Group in the financial market. In fact, on Monday, that means today is Monday, but US is tomorrow, to discuss the role of stablecoin and how stablecoin could play in the financial system. The meeting will take place on US Monday, and it include many authority like the Office of the Controller of Currency and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, etc. Now, Dr. Clemen, can you just explain in layman terms what is stablecoin, and should ordinary investor be worried about this meeting by Janet with all the other financial authority in the US?
Wow, that's a great question, Richard, to begin today's sharing. First of all, there are, in fact, three very important timelines that we need to look out for. For Janet Yellen, she has just kicked off the conversation starting in July. And that's because in September, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has to present a full report on digital currency, especially on the area of stable coins. Now, this brings forth to the third point, which is what we call the digital dollar project. Will US go into the direction similar to China launching the digital yuan? And then in the US, we call it the digital dollar. So I'm trying to pull out right now a very important post that's coming out from back in last year, February, when I was visiting the Davos event. So I managed to meet up with one very important gentleman. His name is called Christopher. He's like the godfather of the digital dollar project. And as I going through my post, I found it right now. I'm going to share with the audience right here. All right. So this gentleman really gave me a very much deeper insight in what the US government is really thinking about. So step one, check this out. His name is called Christopher Giancarlo. And he's really instrumental because of the fact that he was previously the 13th chairman of the Commodities Future Trading Commission, what we call the CFTC. This is like bigger than SEC itself. This is like the monster of the world, the mother of all trading exchanges, all right? So he was known as the crypto dad, as you can see right over here, Richard, because he was the first advocate from a kind of an exchange background to push for digital currency. And then he went on to head a very, very important think tank called the Digital Dollar Project. And today, the good news is this. He has assembled through Accenture 6 of the largest banks in the US to start their pilot testing. So he is involved behind the scenes. I'm very, very sure about it. But more importantly, Janet Yellen right now is taking the conversation forward rather than, taking a back seat, everybody scratching our head, wondering what's the government thinking about this matter. And then welcome to September, Jerome Powell, Fed Chair, will have to present a full report. So there's all this consolidation going on, leading to the third important timeline, which is the approval of the Bitcoin ETF, Exchange Traded Fund. And that's waiting for SEC Chairman Gary Gensler to push it forward. So we can see, there are four superheroes right now involved in this project. The first one, I'll call it the crypto dad, and that's Christopher Giancarlo. Chris Giancarlo is working behind the scene to already start the test pilot. The second one will be Janet Yellen. She is really pushing forward the conversation. Third one is Jerome Powell, Fed Chairman. And finally, what we are all waiting for is SEC Chairman Gary Gensler to approve the Bitcoin ETF. So to sum it up, Richard, your questions is about stablecoin. Stablecoin is no different from the actual fiat currency converting into a digital currency. And the two important keywords behind that is called legal tender. So we can take the lead from China. They call it CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. And that's right now the keyword that everybody is talking about, that frame up the conversation. And then if their time frame is pushing everything through by the end of this year, we're probably going to see something really exciting and positive coming up soon. Richard, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Now, can I say that CBDC, right, Central Bank...
CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency.
Can I say that Central Bank Digital Currency is a fiat currency actually, but in the digital form, but it's just as fiat currency that government can also print as much as they want. There's no difference except that one is on paper, the other is is digital, but they are just fiat currency that controlled by government. Can I say that is correct or not right?
Yes, it's a hybrid of yes and no, because Richard, let me explain, because right now, China has kind of taken the lead in the area of digital currency led by government. So two important keywords came into play right now: centralized versus decentralized. So the very, very good ideology about decentralized, one perfect example, that would be Bitcoin. No governments in the world can manage it. It's 100% decentralized to every common man across the planet. All right. So this is the extreme of freedom, decentralized. Then what China has taken step forward is say, we don't like decentralized. We are the communists. We want it to be centralized. We want to know how people are spending on their digital yuan. We want to know how the digital yuan is flowing to different places. And they really carve out a framework to understand. Of course, they tell the public in general terms, we will see your accumulated spending in which particular segment, in which what products and services and so on. But I strongly suspect, just like many of the analysts on Wall Street is suspecting, China will know exactly each person buying what items today. That is the other extreme of decentralized, and that's called a centralized coin. So right now, because of two very extreme forms of the digital currency, the US is coming in between. They can't go to the China model, or else they're going to face major protests and Fifth Amendment calls and all that. And the American folks wouldn't like to be tracked in that manner. So they have to find somewhere kind of a hybrid model in between that satisfy the citizens so that the citizens will be happily adopting it. At the same time, fulfill the core constitutional requirements required of a digital dollar. And that, I believe, is the real big struggle that they are going through right now, having to balance between the both of extremes, decentralized versus centralized. Richard.
Yeah, of course, we want to have decentralized so that government cannot print the currency, right? I mean, or you use the word program the currency so that there will be inflation. Thank you, Clemen, for your clarification. Now, what is happening right now for Bitcoin? Yeah, we are basically seeing Bitcoin continue to just kind of trade sideways within, and many ordinary investors still hold faith in Bitcoin, but has run out of money to do DCA, dollar cost averaging. Although they are not selling, but many investors choose to relax and do nothing to the market return. So, Dr. Clemen, what is your experience in situation like this?
Wow, Richard, this one really depends on the individual investor, the situation he or she belongs to right now. There are only 3 scenarios at this moment. Let me map it out really carefully with all of our audience. Step 1, today, if you're holding on to Bitcoin, now the only situation I suspect is you're holding on to the average cost of Bitcoin much higher than the current price. Right now, we are floating around $31,000 to $32,000. So scenario number 1, you're holding on to Bitcoin at a much higher average price compared to current market price. Then this is the moment of truth that will severely test your fear and greed and your conviction, as well as your commitment to become a hodler. Hang on for dear life, all right? So for scenario number 1, my encouragement to all of you who are kind of right now stuck in this conundrum, you do not want to sell at a loss, which is good. Never ever sell at a loss, because I shared in previous videos that over time, the price will rise. It's just that you have to bite through the bullet. And number 2, if you run out of ammunition to kind of do what Richard says about the average cost averaging, that means you keep buying as the price goes down to bring down your cost or your break even. Now, I do not want to encourage on that, because from scenario 1, if you are right now kind of stuck at a high price, just hang on for the ride. Do not do anything. Then I want to talk about scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 is that whereby if you are at this moment sitting on profits, unrealized profits, that means your average price is much lower than the current market price, which is around 31, 32,000. Then as scenario number 2, I highly encourage you to place a stop limit order to protect and preserve your profits. So that is easily executed. And we can spend another session just going into the details of that. So for scenario number 2, I've helped so many students save millions of dollars of profits, and just by placing an order called the stop limit order. Then we talk about scenario number 3. Those of you who have not bought in at all, so you probably bought a lot of other things, but not Bitcoin, then my encouragement to you is this is a perfect opportunity. You want to spot the right window of opportunity to get in, and kind of the moment you bought into Bitcoin, the price shoot up, you're sitting on pure green profits. And that's the reason why we are kind of doing these weekly videos, to give you the sense and the urgency to identify this really perfect window of opportunity for entry. Yes, Richard.
Thank you so much, Dr. Clemen. Now, Dr. Clemen, I got a note, right, from one of the Success Resources students, and the note reads, this is the note, right? It says, I am an investor. As an investor, I take the big perspective. I understand and I believe that Bitcoin are and will be the biggest and most important and the fastest growing asset class in this decade. There's a saying, most people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years. Now, when I look at the recent Bitcoin price, I can't help but have this feeling of down. What do you personally do to keep continuing the positive outlook for you, Dr. Clemen?
Wow, that's a great question. And I want to kind of frame this discussion. If you are feeling down at this moment, please be encouraged. So step one, let's go into the history of Bitcoin pricing, all right? So, if you are one of the really, really pioneer early investors, you can get Bitcoin between, let me really highlight this, all right? Between 0.0008 to 0.08. I mean, literally, you just think of, you can literally buy Bitcoin at a price of $1, right? That's how Bitcoin actually started really in the beginning. So there's nothing lost in the game one, all right? Because those who went in early, they probably also sold out early, and they never imagined the price of Bitcoin will shot up to $60 over $1,000 for those who buy at $1. So at different phases of time, different people are severely tested on their fear and greed. So at this moment, if you're kind of feeling down, but really there's not much to feel down about, because I'm going to show you back currently to the current chart of Bitcoin. And this chart has been very, very stable. And I want to keep highlighting to all of our audience here, what other bad news can you possibly think of? I want to throw it out as a kind of a challenge question to every single audience listening in. What other bad news would you expect coming out from the marketplace? Because for all the recent bad news, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin has been standing firm above $30,000. This is like a kind of a very, very strong support level that's not broken at all. And that's the reason why it has been sustaining series and series and series of sustained attacks, challenging the integrity, challenging the survivability, challenging the sustainability of Bitcoin. But it has been holding on through. And you know why? Because the core group of early movers refused to sell. Can you imagine those who bought at 0.08? If they are panicking right now, everybody was selling. They are still making like $1 versus $30,000. That's like 30,000 times of profits. So the question all of us should really ask is, why those guys didn't want to sell? Those who bought at $1, never mind, and largely bought at $10, never mind, and largely those who bought at $100, never mind, and largely those who bought at $1,000, never mind, and largely those who bought at $10,000. Why they are not selling? Because they have every right to sell right now to let the price collapse. Because every one of us are in this for the movement. The people who wipe out in the market are speculators. They are not in this movement with us. And that's the reason why, we are so grateful to Richard Tan of Success Resources leading us this moment. Richard is our leader, and we say, let's go, means go. No turning back one. So you see this price and think about those who own between $1 to $100 to $1,000 to $10,000. They could have easily sold, but they are hanging on. That's why the price cannot break below 30,000. So my question back to those of you who are feeling kind of weak, wary, and my question to you is, why did you get in the first place? Perhaps back then there are many other words to describe. Maybe you foolishly get in, maybe you happily get in, maybe you candidly get in, maybe you just get in, you want to be a test puppet or whatever. But take heart throughout these sessions. Then you begin to build your foundation through, watching our videos, by giving you so many updates on the progress of Bitcoin. Your foundation start to enlarge. Ooh. But if through watching all these videos and taking part in our global Bitcoin festival, and you are still weak, then sayonara, you're not in for the big gain. Because big gains are only reserved for big-hearted people. Then there's something you want to check back yourself. Are you ready to spike all the way to the moon? Back to you, Richard.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Clemen. Now, I'd like to repeat what one of our students wrote to us, right? Just now, the same question. And he says this quote, he says this, that most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years. Now, so this going sideways is just going on for just the last couple of weeks or a month. But in the long run, like 3 years, 5 years, and in fact, Michael Saylor talk about decade, right? Decades and 10 years, 20 years. They will see a huge growth. I mean, you kind of underestimate what you can achieve in 5 years, 10 years. That is Bitcoin.
In fact, Richard, let me add one more point, Don't have to wait 5 years, 10 years. You just have to wait for the next Bitcoin halving. So Bitcoin halving takes place over 4 years, every 4 years. The last one we did together was at 2020. The next one will be 2024. 2024 minus 2021. I urge all of you to wait just 3 more years. Wait until the next halving, because for every halving event, the very first Bitcoin halving event, the price of Bitcoin shot up 92x. That's 9,200%.
Wow.
The second Bitcoin halving shot up 29x. That's 2,900%.
Wow.
Third halving, we are in it right now. Haven't even crossed 10x. We are expecting it to happen between 9229, 92x and 29x, somewhere in between. So if we have not fulfilled this for the third halving, I challenge all of you, wait until the next halving, third halving. If we don't fulfill anywhere between 9229, then you surrender, wave your white flag, move on with your life.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. So thank you, Dr. Clemen, for that word of encouragement. Then, we can see light further down there. So for each and every one of you who are holding Bitcoin, don't be despair, don't be disappointed. There is rainbow down the road, okay, not too far away, where you can have many X of your investment. Now, I personally is very, very positive about Bitcoin. I believe that this is one of the best instruments for ordinary people to create wealth, not only for ordinary people to create wealth, but for their generation to come, to create this amazing wealth, just amazing opportunity. That's the reason why we are organizing the Global Bitcoin Festival this October. Now, it is a gathering of industrial expert and enthusiastic community of Bitcoin holder to update, promote, and educate, right? So this is a movement to encourage the adoption of Bitcoin. Now, Dr. Clemen, what do you think? What do you think for those who are standing by the sideway and want to know more about Bitcoin on this Global Bitcoin Festival?
Wow. We just got based on your question, Richard, we just got a hot news just came out exactly 1 hour ago. Let me switch over my screen at this moment. And the news is this mega will just purchase around 30,000 Bitcoins, mama. 30,000 Bitcoins over the last weekend, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today is Monday. So if you look at this is just like published 1 hour ago, then you begin to understand the logic behind it. All right. Why would someone go around buying 30,000 units of Bitcoin? And this is really, really huge for the marketplace because according to the data by BitInfoCharts, a Bitcoin mega whale purchased nearly 30,000 over last weekend. And the dates are specific because everything about Bitcoin is captured on the blockchain. It is 100% transparent. You can't cheat on the system. That's what we love about whole technology behind Bitcoin itself. And this same entity controls around, holy moly, 144,000 Bitcoins across 18 wallets.
Wow.
This is more than Michael Saylor.
Wow.
Now, Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy is the poster boy. But there are many rich people, as you know, Richard, many rich people who just want to remain stealth, do not want to be seen, do not want to be heard. They have their reasons for privacy. And with each containing exactly 8,000 BTC since December 2018.
2018, 3 years ago.
This guy has been holding around 144,000 since December 2018, which exactly matched the point I shared with all of you just now. Think about the guy who bought at $1, $100, $1,000, $10,000. And over the past 3 days, the same whale, big fat whale, bought 30,000 for about close to $1 billion, mama.
Wow.
And it doesn't stop right there because why? What is really important is, again, back to the point I raised, it really doesn't matter you bought at $1, $100, $1,000. For this mega whale who have never made a single purchase nor sold any of his Bitcoin until recently, purchased in 2018 at the price of 3,970.
Wow.
So he's bought like 4,000, that's his cost price, and an investment of 31 million, of which that $31 million became $252 million. That's having a really big, hard, long-term view of Bitcoin, and he's still buying some more today, despite the fact that we talk about, Richard, from the highest price of 64,000 dropping right now to 32,000. Most people chicken out already, and there's perfectly nothing wrong about that if you take your profits and you protect your potential profits by placing a stop limit, because most ordinary men can't withstand the pressure. They'll crack. But for this extraordinary man, this is what we call the YOLO, you only live once legend. And that's the reason why, holy moly, if you take into account of his total wallet size, his 144,000 Bitcoin is now worth a massive 4.55 billion. So truly, the data that we see on Bitcoin treasuries is not a complete data. I want to make this point really loud and clear, Richard, to all our friends here, because there are people who are willing to expose their trades, and there are many, many, many others who want to remain stealth for a variety of reasons. Let's not go into that. But what we see under here, public companies that own Bitcoin, they want to come out as the advocate. So we've been talking about MicroStrategy. This guy only owns 105 Bitcoin, losing to a big fat whale here, 144,000 Bitcoin. That's the difference we are talking about. And that's the reason why it's so important to hang out with the insiders of the crypto world. And back to your question, Richard, what are my thoughts about global Bitcoin Festival? My thoughts is this. Because I know this event is put together by Success Resources. I know this event is led by Richard Tan. Then I want to tell all of you, you better get in early soon and hang out with the insiders. Because if you don't hang out with the insiders, you will die like the rest. All right, so that's my clear message for you. Do your best, or else you will die like the rest, but you always hang out with the best. So back to you, Richard.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for that statement and thought. Now, the reason why I want to organize the Global Bitcoin Festival is not just because, it's a business, not just because we want to run more seminar, but I really, really believe in the whole philosophy of Bitcoin, that Bitcoin can provide freedom to the ordinary people so that you will not be controlled by the government. And I want to promote this as a movement, not just a business opportunity, but a movement. Now, being a movement, the more people adopt and believe in Bitcoin, right, and they use Bitcoin, of course, Bitcoin become more popular, and because it's limited, therefore Bitcoin will appreciate, right? So that's the reason why we want to educate more people and also promote the movement of adoption of Bitcoin. Thank you, Dr. Clemen, for your wisdom and how you can condense many news, right, to make it simple for all our viewers to view. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a link below, and click on to sign up and to get more information for the Global Bitcoin Festival. And this is Richard Tan. I want to wish you wealth, health, and happiness in your life. Till we see you again in the next video. Thank you so much.